for doing this issue. And thanks to Mendoza. When I sent the poems to Freaklung in 2010 maybe, I'd never published and never really been to a reading. I was completely outside of the whole scene, and probably I went to the memorial reading of Bill Griffiths, and you just were so nice to me and looked after me and supported my work, so I'd just like to take a moment to say thank you so much. Because I've done a lot of work since then, I haven't stopped. So a huge part of that is thanks to you. So I'm going to read one or two things from the book, of course, in homage to the launch, but also this Saturday and Sunday I'm doing an event in Manchester for my Enemies project, where I'm launching a book in a box with the artist David Kelly, and it's a piece called Gilles de Rais, which is about the French serial child killer and friend of Joan of Arc, but really actually it's about Jimmy Savile. So I'm just going to read some of these poems for 10 minutes or so. The first poem has an epigraph from John Berryman. Everybody's mouth is somewhere else, I know somebody's anus. I speak a mystery only to you, here's all my blood in porn. Awake to a world ashamed. Silly moon overheard, it doesn't bear well for the kiddies. On place never said the little girl, little knowing the transformed earthworm was not her friend in all of this. No joke to Gilles, the rest of her body, warm as the new, snapped her humour. He didn't look all that friendly, we might say, vain and poisonous as he'd say ancient snakes are. Gilles with a magic is shaking the tree. Highlander was schooling. On that school trip for the deep woods fell timber, so the axe that famed an entire generation of children began to cut. Master Blaster is half of something that I want. I have the worst story to tell that's ever recently been told here. One Roman soldier said to the other, "What will we be remembered for?" The other replied, "We've still a nail to hammer here down beneath the hips, and so women were not born to birth, apparently not. To end up upside down over a bath, being drained of blood, or being boiled alive in a sleeping bag, or Gilles' Mercedes as it trawls the Pennines for fresh basements. There are the rich with us. I can't read any more of this rich pressing about how witches are then forgivable. It was a different time," I said, on my English muffin, smoking, and institutional torture worldwide, and 13 was 16. And he wasn't after children, but for magic purposes. Schoolgirls, though. I admit it isn't for me, but I say I never knew Joan of Arc, or was at all magic Bluebeard. In the summer of 1967, it was like he was waiting in the basement, letters arranging themselves as he tried to sleep. As David, I don't know, he said, "Should we really be in there? It's so small and new, and a girl had died. I'm not," I said, "going to kill you, but we were all scared. How did you carry this bag? It's so heavy and has awkward straps, like a helmet." It was awkward before it was over. And it was hard out there, and there was clap of thunder. "Oh, and Mary, we are not friends. Hands up," says Gilles. I admit it, truth be told. I don't know why I did it. Maybe because I enjoyed it. Maybe I mean, are you going? It's not as though I killed that many children. Is it just because sex is involved? He asked, for I killed far more of the young on the battlefield. Meditations on violence. Digging up the dead, he said, for there is safety in the workhouse. For first taught Gilles avoidance, be sensitive to the threat, unencounter, it then escape. If you run, then do run away with me, then dissuasion, dissuade me from the Red Wings, to the green dog of France, a spear in Lille, for it to leave before finally action with artifice, no entree, whole vehemence and awful destruction. A deal to be had online. Go, Gilles, onto another speed read book to take whisper in her ears, to steer the message. You are so mature and beautiful, a real woman. Full your tiny size atop, his fetal voice steady like a lion. You happy broods at this table, so quick, it races like those infections you can be rid of. Why, says Gilles, do I put up alone with this poor technique and inexperience? Oh, it's a hard life. Ditchling or curly destiny. There's his out in village, picking his next victim like it were a showroom, but we're all tired at work. Working is a merry old heart. There's a little finger life when he says the lithe blonde one. Mother screams, father expression less. He's going to get rumbled for too brazen as Gilles. I forgot to mention the girl's expression is confused. He declaims the one that likes look like the blonde from the telly, and they cry. The quest for the Grail pipe. Considering all those deaths, and considering it was like the Aztecs slaughtering to a remit, and for a reason to appreciate a magic power, perhaps it isn't so bad. Forgiveness, please, for her shall turn the heart of the children to their fathers, and this will not be easy. The world talks to you. Its lies like promise, light heavy as feathers, wake heavy as lead, slapping sounds, a lost goat. In the garden they are alone, children being murdered, of which the less that's said, the better. The Human Sculpture Award. If it weren't for all the child murder, he would have been a saint. Joan's trusted aide, her familiar on the field granting wishes against the English, but maybe now it's too far even for the Catholics. Bodies piled up like mattresses, yes, definitely, killing them a faux pas. He needn't have when silence comes so natural to the loved. A face sooty with seawater. Lobster in the supermarket. Excuse me, what's the best newspaper? I don't know, says the newsagent. Well, you're not very good at your job, says the lobster. Listening to the radio in the hopes his favourite song is played from deep upon the sea. There is an apron of ghost fish, and from them comes our strength to raise up those miniature us. Parental abuse pales in comparison. A father kicks a son up the arse for finishing the milk. A mother in the Isle of Dogs abuses her children for accidentally tripping her up. The world full of pain like an arm full of steroids, as though chemicals were water in a glass and not too complicated to understand for those who can't read, and shit in bags. It's important to consult the internet doctor before treatment, for 90% of winning in life is just turning up. Shot in the ribs in revenge. My organs like this, 2 ribs, rhymes, and Emily's racist baby workout is a future collected book. Like this, a postcard-sized box that is completely empty as a hospital bed can be empty soon enough if you don't watch your mouth, and if so, I'll be on quick as a flash, evidence for it in my past. New character in the film of his life. Well, all that gushing over Ray as though he were the Atlantic with a Pacific Rim kind of size, a tower more beauty than we can imagine, run all over the body of the floor in the gloom that is tame as a cocker spaniel, and so spitefully says, no wonder I gave up married life, landed life, and decided to kill loads of kids instead. The death of photojournalism at the hands of Rupert Murdoch. You may touch me before I touch you, he says. The world over us is happening but without permission, and the great bear will be only judge at my inevitable subsequent trial that scandalizes a nation who is just drooling at the prospect of devouring it as though a vocal cord, a knot of information, was a child's piffle. A happy crowd is well ready to feed. A terrible applause that bends the nose up. This isn't the show you paid for, but you'll stay. Use the flush and give it a minute, a guest of my wardrobe, because soon you'll be an islander, a flag of a flower, 2 spikes, 1 lodger. I don't trust anyone, that's why I'm still alive, because where I'm from, people like you get. Just sounds behind the cover-up. The pain of true choice is not the pain of ripping, it is all smothered by how terrible it was back then to be backstage at the BBC, bored on the estate, courting money with nothing to spend it on except sending your only daughter to that New Age therapeutic retreat, which didn't turn out so well in the end when the patron came a-visiting. Anyway, enough of that joy. I'm not going to read my poems in the Freaklung section of the Angel Exhaust because they're shit, but I am going to read one from James Harvey, for obvious reasons. If anyone else wants to read James Harvey, I'm sorry I'm doing it first, but in tribute to James Harvey, NYC 9s. NYC 9 letters, but I can make it seem so, and it's just as true with confidence. 8.4 million individual confidences, displaying if you want to see sadness and happiness both. Dinosaurs, hip bones, obviously so joining feature, marking orders different. Apatosaurus 30 tons, not its own head. Huge hip bones walks, pterosaurs, not strictly dinosaurs fly. The Bowery Poetry Club isn't like the Poetry Cafe in London. It works for more than the few with at least 2 readings each day. It brings many kinds of even performance poetry takes many forms. I saw Jeanne Verlet read and was riveted by it. Stein 9, 9 Stein, Stein 9, 999 Stein, Bryant statue, Stein, Stein, 9, 9, 9 Stein, 9 Stein, 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 9999 Stein. Water towers, cylinders, cubes, more or less. Penthouses, and far below, people upside down, downside up, it's great down here, just walking and talking, trying things out for shape. Carpathia, Jenkins, Louis Rosen, in Joe's pub combining jazz, musical, blues, gospel, torch songs wonderfully, but the musical aspect unsettling, quite superficial, and in it being so most real because it jars from Empire State Building on 86th floor, 8:30 on Sunday morning, clear November sky, Statue of Liberty, people skating in Rockefeller ice rink. Thanks very much.